Good morning, all you amazing people. I just did a workout of um, Kung Chi. I said that right. Um, no, sorry, Qui-Gon. That's what I did. I was like, what was it I did? Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon? I think it's called. Anyways, instead of my yoga this morning, I did that. It's pretty cool. Um, I still love my yoga, don't get me wrong, but I just like to try new things. And you might as well keep your brain activated and keep going, right? But I want to talk to you because I've been talking with a few people. Started with my son Loki, and then my daughter Clarissa, and then my husband last night. And I got a message yesterday, and I thought, you know what? This is a good time to do a video. So I did a video a while ago on a review on It Works, the Little Red Book. And I love it. I've listened to the audio over and over again, and I've got the book myself that I read constantly. Now, here's the thing, though. The one thing that, like, you can have whatever you want. We all know that. We all believe that, except how do we get that, right? So in the book, it gives you ideas, write it down. But the biggest thing that I think for me and maybe for a lot of people is believing whether or not we can have it. So our conscious Florence Scovel Shinn, I was reading just the first few paragraphs of her book, The Game of Life, and how to play it. And it helps you like realize this. Okay, so basically what you give out, you get. We know that, right? So maybe we don't, but whatever you're putting out into the universe, that's what you're asking for. And it doesn't just mean, so you could be a good person and do lots of good things, but still in your conscious mind, your body mind, your ego, it's telling you how things have always been, how it's protected you your whole life. Remember the last time you stepped out of place? And well, that's what it's telling you. So it's telling you to be cautious, and what the Game of Life and the Little Red Book and all those books are trying to tell you is that you need to believe whatever you're sending out to the universe is going to come back to you. If you're a good person, yes, you're going to get good. But if you're still thinking those negative thoughts, if you're still thinking, why isn't it here yet? If you're still thinking, there's no possible way I could get it, then that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to keep those thoughts. You gotta trick your mind, your conscious mind, your ego mind, your body mind, whatever, into believing that you already had it. You've already done that before. It's easy to get. So how do we do that? Well, we imagine. So in our imagination, we've already done it, right? But we have to like talk ourselves into it. So talk ourselves into believing that we can have it in this realm, in this world, because we've already had it in our imagination. That's a realm too, right? So if you want something, how do you get it? If you start bringing in negative thoughts about it, change your thoughts. If you can't change your thoughts, think of something else. This is a big one. But when you're writing down what you want, feel it, imagine it, be with it, write it down every day. I do something, I write letters to whatever it is I'm wanting, make it a little more exciting, not just what I want, but like become personal with this, right? Whatever it is. And I write down letters on a constant basis and talking to the thing that I'm wanting to manifest. Now, I'll tell you a secret. I did this way before I even realized that this is a thing to do. So I had a diary back in my early 30s, not late 20s, early 30s. And I wrote everything. But I also wrote Like I wrote all my disappointments and I wrote all my issues and but I also wrote what I really wanted. So I started changing my mind frame without even realizing, like without anybody telling me that's what I should be doing. And back then, internet wasn't as it is right now, where you can just look and find what you want, right? It was kind of, but not like it is now. We've advanced. So I would write down what I wanted in a partner. It was I was in a relationship. It wasn't a very healthy relationship. I knew that, but I wanted it changed. I wanted to change. I wanted me to change. I wanted the other person to change. That's what I thought at the time, right? So I just wrote down everything I wanted, and I stuck with that. When I started getting sad about not having it or being in the situation I was in, then I would change it. And I would either think of something I was in love with, or I'd think about how wonderful it would be to be in a relationship like this, or for my kids to be connected with someone who was like this, and like that's what I wanted. I wanted something different, right? But I didn't know how to go about it, and so I left it. I just wrote it in my fantasy journal or diary, and left it at that. And then when I would think about it, I'd think about the things I'd like to do. I'd like to go for a walk through the forest. I'd like to, like do all these different things that I would like to do. And then within, I don't know, maybe a year, I was no longer in the relationship I was in. And then my now husband showed up into my life. It was a very difficult, crazy time for him to show up, but he did, and helped me through a lot. It wasn't, and neither of us were looking. I was not looking at the time. I had already split with the other person, and my son Matt was like so really bad with his epilepsy, and it was real bad, and it was a really chaotic time for me. I wasn't even sure what was going on. I was working really, really hard, and like just so many weird different things that were happening in my life. So I was not looking for that part because I was just crazy everywhere else. And I'd actually told him that. I said, dude, you don't want this. It's crazy where I am. Believe me. And he did anyways. But so if you want something, first of all, you have to believe you can get it. You have to let it go. So allow it to come to you. That's a big one. Allowing is a big one. Believe you can have it. Allow it to come. If you can't focus on it with excitement and imagination and creativity, then you need to let it go. Allow it. Know that it's coming to you on when you're ready for it. Because if you rush it, it's not going to be the way you want it. And the universe knows how you want it. It's being set up for you to succeed and not to fail. So I really believe that. Everything you want, you can have. You just have to believe you can have it. And it's easier for us to get what we want when we've already had it. So, like a vehicle, let's mention a vehicle. So, if I wanted a vehicle, it was always pretty easy. I could just go buy one. And when a couple of years ago, we were in the process of thinking about getting a new vehicle, but we didn't know how or how it was going to come about or anything like that. And the vehicle we were using wasn't very safe anymore, and it was very difficult for where we were not to have a vehicle. And so I just kept asking for a vehicle. I didn't really put much thought into having a vehicle. And if you read in one of the comments that I did before, I wrote about this. But then I was just writing about I'm loving my journey. And then my husband pulls up with a journey. So the vehicle was a journey. So those are easy for me because I know that I can get a vehicle, right? So when you're in a situation like you want something so bad. Okay, so here's one. This is going back like 14 years ago. I wanted to get pregnant. So 15 years ago, I had a baby. Well, I was pregnant and I lost the baby. My husband and I got married 14 years ago, and well, it's coming up 14 years. And so I was very desperate to get pregnant from that time on. And so I lost the baby in October, and then in March we got married. And I really wanted a baby so bad, but I could imagine it. I could feel it because I'd been pregnant already. I'd been pregnant. That would have been my fourth pregnancy. So I knew that it could happen, but I was wanting it now, 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 and my timing wasn't right. I wasn't allowing, I wasn't letting go. I was getting frustrated. I was getting emotional. I was feeling it wasn't happening. I wasn't getting pregnant. And I wasn't getting pregnant because I wanted it so bad. I did not allow, I did not let go. I was adamant. I want it now, 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 now. 2 years later, I finally had pretty much just given up hope. Not really given up hope. I still hoped, and I still knew that it was possible, but I knew that, and this was before I really started getting into my into the whole law of attraction thing. I knew about it, but very, very little. And I didn't realize that letting go and allowing is a very big, big step. You have to believe, you have to let go, you have to allow. So instead of thinking of other things, instead of being grateful that other people were getting pregnant, instead of getting excited about what could happen, instead of all this stuff, I was just getting more and more sad. And then I decided that was it, whatever. Whatever will be, will be. And I let go. And the moment, and I remember it like so, like the moment I let go felt so much better. And then when I did a pregnancy test and it came out positive, I was like, wait a minute, what? Am I really reading this right? And so without a word, I just said, I said, there was words. I said, babe, read this. And so he did, and it was positive. And so when I let go, things happen. When I want to control them, they don't happen. So basically, the prayer, serenity prayer, I don't know if you guys know it, but it's so true. And it reminds me constantly of, controlling what you can control, which is yourself, and letting everything go. Everything else you can't have control of, you don't have control of, so just let it go. You don't have control over people. You don't have control over situations. You don't have control over of what you want when you want it. It's not going to happen that way. Let it go. Let it go and allow, and things will come to you faster. You can have everything you want. And I do this to myself too, because if I'm wanting something so bad, why hasn't it shown up yet? Well, it's not my time yet. As my dad always says, what's for you won't go by you. When it's your time, it'll be your time. Just trust in the process. Breathe. Focus on something fun. Imagine how amazing it's going to be when it shows up for you. Maybe what's for you isn't right for you. Like maybe what you're wanting isn't right for you. Like in Florence Scovel-Shen's book, this lady wanted a certain man, and but Florence did she does like a talk, basically like a healing type thing of and said the word of the right man coming into her life. And then she realized, the lady realized that after a while that maybe it wasn't this guy that she's wanting, and that this new guy showed up, and he's actually treating her the way that she wanted the other guy to treat her. And that goes back to like my story, where I wanted one person to treat me a certain way that my now husband does. So maybe it's not supposed to be the way you want it, but the universe has a plan for you. So once you let go and allow, everything's going to work out. It's all a matter of how. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Don't worry about when it's going to happen. Don't worry about where it's going to happen. Just know it's going to happen. Believe it and let it happen. Believe it and allow it. That's the best thing you can do. Stop worrying about when. Let it go. That's not up to you. What's up to you is focusing on what you want. Staying focused, staying positive, staying happy, staying grateful, believing it can, and letting it go. You are amazing. You are light. You are loved. I love you. Have an amazing day, everybody.